Paro is enthusiastic with Yosef's solution and interpretation of his dreams, immediately gives him the job of his life, the offer of his life. Atati el beiti, you'll be in charge of the whole household, the whole monarchy. Everyone in my nation will have to follow your word. How is Yosef's interpretation of the dreams such a changing point for him that actually changes his life? And I think if we take a look, we notice that there's a big difference between the dreams that Paro solved for Sarah Mashkim and Sarah Ofim, the ministers when he was in jail, and his solution of the dreams, Paro's dreams. Because the dreams of Sarah Mashkim and Sarah Ofim were just like a kind of revealing what's going to happen in a few days' time in the future. In 3 days this will happen, in 3 days that will happen, and that's it. But Yosef's interpretation of Paro's dream has another very, very important element in it. As the Ramban explains, when Yosef is telling Paro, you have to actually gather all the food from the 7 years that everything is going to be so fruitful, and keep them for the 7 years of famine, Yosef is not just like, taking the initiative here and trying to be an advisor when he wasn't asked to be. He's interpreting the dream itself. Because, as Ramban explains, when Paro sees in his dream that the bad-looking cows eat up the good-looking ones, the big ones, that actually means that the 7 bad years are consuming, or you have to eat in those years, the food is that from the 7 good cows. In other words, Yosef is not being an unasked or unwanted advisor. It's part of the interpretation of the dream. And Paro sees that, and he understands that. And I think what we learn from that is something very, very important. That, dreams can be something that stands on their own. But dreams don't come true themselves. We have to make them come true. They may contain objective elements that help us understand what we need to do. But it has to be done. It won't happen on its own. It's not enough to dream. It's not enough to have a vision. We have to be able to put it into practice and take the measures and take the initiative to put it into practice and do what needs to be done and to make our own choices and put in our own efforts. And if we do that, then the dreams can come true, just as Yosef interpreted for Paro. Shabbat Shalom.